Well, why couldn't the electric gas put its own assets up as collateral for this loan? And that's what I don't understand. You've got some very big players in the consortium, Siemens, SOCAR. Surely they have enough assets to...
They do. They have put on the table, and that is what took a long time to do the due diligence, and there are the best English lawyers who have certified that those 90 million are real. So they have letters of credit up to 90 million, which is a 20%. It's normal for a business. They will have 20% capital and 80% loan. Now, forget the government for the moment. That's what they did. They have borrowed 80% of the project from the 4 banks, and 20% they're going to provide themselves as capital. 90 million, they have it. So they guarantee that they do have it. Now, the question of the issue was that those 80%, the 90 is real and is there. The 80%, they borrowed, they need the government that it's there guaranteeing it, but charging for it until, because government has not yet delivered the promised guarantee, which is the security of supply. That's the issue. Well, obviously, we started with the government, with the finance blowing out of proportion. I mean, we're talking of 80 or 360 million. Of course, it's not a small sum. But our people have been burdened not with a guarantee, but with debt. Debt. We have, in other words, we're paying interest on it on an annual basis, 240 million. We're paying as much as percent of GDP, as much as Greece. Greece pays about 3% of the GDP. That's how much we're paying interest, 230 million. They come to about 3% of GDP. On 5,200 million debt, 5.2 billion debt, over 25 years. Guarantees, we've come into the government and we found on paper, at the Treasury, you can go and check, 1.2 billion guarantees. Freeport, did we condemn the government for guaranteeing a loan to build the Freeport? No, of course it's normal. So, I mean, yeah, but we're creating a lot of this on just false pretenses. We're honestly, there are so many things we should be doing, and I say this because every time I go abroad, you look at Malta and you see other countries trying to take away our competitiveness in the iGaming, in the financial service. You have no idea what some Europeans are doing to us. You know, they're trying through various pretexts, through games, on the sports side, through financial services, through taxation. They even managed to change the VAT on the supply of services so that we will lose millions of revenue. They've succeeded. Okay, I think we can take them in our stride. But all this was so that Malta and Luxembourg and will lose their competitiveness.
I understand what you're saying. Did the government try to get the opposition on board when it came to this loan guarantee, or you didn't even want that kind of thing? Because
on the guarantee?
Yeah, when it came to the loan guarantee, they were saying, yes, now we're going to do this. Can you please come on board with us? Was there any attempt?
To the companies, to Electrogas?
Yeah, to the opposition. Because obviously you're saying the opposition is just hitting off nothing. Was there an attempt by the government?
Well, this is how I mean, everybody has to talk for himself. I mean, in my field, I try as much as possible for every type of legislation to discuss that with my shadow minister. I do that, he comes here, he sits where you are sitting, and we discuss whether it's the financial arbiter or whatever, we will, before we go to committee, money laundering and many other types of legislation. Now that is because financial services have got this aura that the two sides agree and so on and so forth. I think it doesn't mean there shouldn't be an opposition. I don't mean like that. But if there is better relationship between the two sides, I think it would help, yes. And I'm not going to point fingers.
One more question. So how is the 25% reduction in tariffs being funded exactly? Because the reduction has been given, so how is the government making good for this?
Of the tariff?
Yeah, tariff.
Again, look, there's now convincing evidence that we were really a high-cost producing country for electricity, with the highest amongst them. And it's not difficult to find out why. We had a gas-guzzling motor car, so to speak, Marsa. It's how would I say, it's like leaking oil rather than manufacturing into electricity. Like when you have a very old car leaking and giving you 12 miles to the gallon. Now, compare that to the new technology, when you with a car, with 1 gallon, you can do 42 miles or more. Immediately, the amount of imports you save is enormous. So there are enormous benefits from going away from that Marsa and also from the old Delamara plant into the new technology, whether it's gas. Now they will all be turned to gas, and there's also the interconnector. Now you always use the best. Now all those benefits, which are going to, from the investment of today, will come in the next 25 years. We use 25 years because that's the normal lifetime of machinery of that caliber. So the benefits will come 25 years. However, we were suffocating now. We're drowning in competitiveness, high tariffs for the families, for the businesses. So how do you can have a choice. Either you get the benefits over the 25 years, or you bring them, not the whole 25 years, but you bring some of them up front, and you'll get less benefits over the 25 years, because we needed them now. Now it's when we need them, and that was the idea. It was a brilliant idea, that you get the company to pay that amount of money in order to get that tariff reduction for the household, and next year it will be up running. Now, I mean, the project is more than halfway through now. I'm not sure that people are realizing out there, but the turbines are nearly finished in Sweden. The ship is there, the land is being produced, and soon we can, they will start being put into place by early next year, hopefully commissioned by mid-year. So the benefits will soon come up. So what we did was a year or a year and a half before, we paid the benefit. And again, the delays came because of a reason. The electoral program was meant for the the gas plant. And we thought that would save Malta, and so on and so forth. However, we did realize that Malta was on a, like that, but we never thought that it was going to be a stumbling block even to continue with that, with the project. Or let me go a little bit backwards. The reason why we wanted this project to be done by the private sector, because we couldn't trust and wanted to do it. It hadn't funds, it didn't even have the creditworthiness to borrow. Okay, that was the problem. Now, in the interim, we got the Chinese offer and partnership, and strengthened Malta. And that simple, us and Electrogas, or whoever the bidder would have been, came complicated because there was a triangle. And what we had to agree was Malta had to consult with the Chinese, while at the same time we were negotiating the deal. And that took a long time. The legal the Chinese are, it's not a walkover, they are Harvard trained, they come there, every point they ask and continue and so on. So the deal with this Electrogas. There, as I said, there were 4 banks with their 4 respective lawyers. Electrogas and the government are 2 other partners, and then the independent and so on. So it's a complicated deal, and it takes time. It takes time. On a daily basis, toing and froing, legal terms, paragraph correcting. You have to ensure that when you sign, you know what you're in for. I mean, you have to be quite responsible for that.